welcome back to my channel. Today what we're going to be going over is lunch. Quick, healthy, easy lunch. Meals that can be prepped ahead of time and then packed, whether you're going to work, whether it's school, college, whatever that is. They can be reheated and then eaten throughout the week. Keeping in mind, yes, these are going to be focusing on a low-calorie lunch, but if you are trying to gain weight, you can totally do that with these lunches. All you have to do is just double the recipe and eat more of them. If you are trying to lose weight, then just follow these to a T, and I'll be giving you all the calorie information for these lunches as well. We're going to be focusing on two different recipes today. We're going to be doing a pizza, because who doesn't love pizza? And then we're also going to be doing a pasta bake, because who doesn't love pasta? I know that I love pasta because I'm Italian and we eat pasta all the time. What makes this different though is both of these meals have very similar ingredients, but taste completely different. So when you go grocery shopping, you have a short ingredient list, but when you come home and you start meal prepping, you're able to create two completely separate meals with similar ingredients. So we're going to be making a pizza, and then we're going to be making that pasta bake. Are you excited? We're going to start with the pizza. The star of today's show is going to be Rao's. A good pizza has to have a good sauce. The sauce will make or break a pizza. I am a little bit of a snob when it comes to sauces. Maybe it's because I'm Italian, I don't know. Whenever I go to an Italian restaurant, it has to be a really good sauce. Whenever I go get pizza out and about, it has to be a really good sauce. This is probably the best sauce in a jar that I've ever had in my entire life. So this sauce is going to be the star of the show. And they have two different types of Rao's. We have this margarita pizza, but then they also have pizza. So when I was first, I can't remember what diet it was on that I had to use Rao's, and that's actually how I discovered it, because it was like the lowest sugar sauce that was out there. So it was a good discovery, but I remember buying it and thinking this is pizza sauce. So I'm a little concerned that I'm using pizza sauce as my spaghetti sauce, because again, I'm super picky about my spaghetti sauces. So I was concerned about that. But as soon as I tasted this, I was like, whoa, this really can be used as pizza sauce or spaghetti sauce. So for what we're doing today in both of our recipes, you're going to see how this works for both. So the first recipe that we're going to focus on is the pizza. Now, I love pizza, and I will eat pizza all the time. Pizza, I love a good thin crust pizza that when you pick it up, it flops and you have to fold the crust to eat it. I just really love pizza. Now, normal pizza, a normal slice of pepperoni pizza, can generally end up being about 300 plus calories. Like I always talk about in my videos, I like to take foods that are generally considered unhealthy and make them as healthy as possible. So I love pizza. I love a good thin slice of pizza that when you pick it up, it flops down and you have to fold it whenever you're eating it, and because it gets all sloppy and it falls. This pizza I have perfected, and this is one of my go-to meals because it's so quick. So what we're going to need today is a crust, definitely a crust. This is a cauliflower pizza crust. This is made by Green Giant. You can get this in the frozen section. Generally, with all the other cauliflower ingredients or frozen cauliflower, usually they have frozen cauliflower noodles and things like that. So you got to be mindful about this, because sometimes frozen cauliflower crust or frozen cauliflower things that you can get in the grocery store can be not so tasty. I've tried a lot of them. This one is delicious and tastes really good. I also have made homemade frozen pizza crust made with cauliflower, and it is pretty delicious, but it takes a long time, and it's really easy to mess up if you don't get all the moisture out, and then it's not good. But I did end up perfecting it, so maybe I'll do a video on that at a different time, but it does take a while, and this is just the easiest way to go. So this is Green Giant cauliflower crust. If you can't find this, they do have really good wheat crusts where you get the pizza sauce, they have crusts in that aisle. So if you can't find this, the next best place to go is the wheat crusts. The calorie content is a little bit higher in that, so you just want to be mindful that if you're trying to lose weight, not to eat that entire crust. Where with this, you can eat the entire crust with this, because this entire pizza crust is only 330 calories, and this is a big pizza crust. You don't have to eat the whole thing. I'll eat the whole thing if this is my lunch, but if I'm gonna eat like a salad or something with it, you can absolutely only eat half of this. So this is the crust that we're gonna be working with today. I actually have this in the oven now. So I took this straight out of the freezer, completely frozen, and I put it in the oven. It doesn't say to do that. This is just something that I've learned, trial and error, because I like my crust to get a little bit browned before I go and put the toppings on. Okay, so I have this in the crust. I have the crust in the oven now on 425 for about 10 minutes. And I know whenever it's ready because I can smell it, so I keep watching it. As soon as I can smell it, I'll pull it out, and that's when I start to put the toppings on, okay? So again, Green Giant cauliflower pizza crust. It's so good. One whole pizza crust has 330 calories. I'm choosing to do a pepperoni pizza today because I love pepperoni. You can easily skip the pepperoni if you don't want to put meat on your pizza, or if you don't like pepperoni. So I'm choosing to do turkey pepperoni. This is about 14 slices of turkey pepperoni. Here's the deal. Your body doesn't really know the difference between 14 slices or 15 slices or 16 slices. So don't get like super caught up on that. On the package of the turkey pepperoni that I have, it's 70 calories for 14 slices. So in the oven right now is that crust. Once that crust is browned, I'm gonna pull that out of the oven, and we're gonna put all of these toppings on our pizza. Okay, now that we have our pizza crust ready to go, it's time to assemble. So easy, so quick. This is generally the color that you're looking for. So again, I took this out of the freezer, I put it into the oven, I let it bake in the oven at 425 degrees for maybe 8 minutes until I could start smelling it, getting that like crust smell. Now that it has that crust smell, because I like to have a crispier crust. You can completely skip this part if you like to have a more bendable crust, but again, I like to have that crispier crust. So about 5 to 8 minutes in the oven, I got that crust. Now I'm going to assemble my toppings. And again, this whole pizza, I can eat this whole pizza for 330 calories. I'm going to go ahead and put the star of the show on, which is my 1/4 a cup of that Rayo's pizza sauce. And this is just the pizza sauce. They also have that margarita as well. If that's what you can find, get that one. It's the same amount of calories. It's that 40 calories in that 1/4 a cup, and this is a lot of sauce. I like a lot of sauce on my pizza. If you want to take this down to a little bit less, you can do that as well. So I'm going to put this entire 1/4 a cup on my pizza, and I'm going to spread this around on my entire pizza. I'm going to take it all the way to those edges, spread it around using my little spatula. You can use a spoon, you can use whatever you have. And you can smell how good this sauce smells. It smells good. It doesn't smell like a generic sauce. It smells like it cooked all day, like a legit Italian sauce. Ask any Italian. They know that a good sauce cooks all day. Okay, so next is the cheese. And this is generally where the calories start to add up. So you have to be mindful with this. But here's the thing. I will not compromise flavor to have low calories. So you have to be mindful about this. This is what I do when it comes to cheese, because I'm not going to give up flavor to have low fat this, low calorie that. Sometimes low fat and low calorie, the way companies in their food get to that is they just add a bunch of chemicals and all these things that really truly aren't good for you to get to that low calorie, and you just have to be mindful of that. So for this recipe, I'm going to do half and half. I'm going to do low fat and then I'm going to do full fat. So we're going to do 1/4 cup of fat-free mozzarella, which is 45 calories, and then 1/4 cup of full fat mozzarella, which ends up being 80 calories. Okay, now that that has spread all around the pizza, now I'm going to go ahead and put on the cheese. I have those two cheese. I have my fat-free cheese and I also have my full-fat cheese. I'm going to put these on equally around my pizza, 1/4 cup each. The 1/4 cup of the fat-free cheese, again, has 45 calories. The 1/4 cup of the full fat has the 80 calories. And then I'm going to put on my pepperoni all around my pizza. If you don't want pepperoni, you can skip this part. Put more cheese on if you want. You could put vegetables on. You could put olives on. You can put anything you want on this pizza. This is just how I make it because I like a pepperoni pizza. So that's our pizza. Now I'm going to take this and put it into the oven. I'm just going to watch it. Generally about, again, 5 to 8 minutes. It does not take long. And then I'm going to pull it out of the oven and I'm going to cut it up, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so here is our pizza. I've let this pretty much cool down. That's how I'm holding this. But basically at this point, all you got to do is cut it up and eat it, and it will be delicious. So again, this entire pizza has about 565 calories and is super filling. This pizza can be prepped ahead of time and then reheated for meal prep for the next day, or you can just eat it right away like I'm going to right now. I'm going to eat this for my lunch right now, and it is super delicious. The next meal that we're going to make is our pasta bake, so stay tuned because that's what's coming up next. Bake is seriously delicious and it's super filling. I like to have a more filling lunch because there's this like 3 o'clock thing that happens that where at 3 o'clock I'm just like super hungry again, but when I have a filling lunch that doesn't happen. So this pasta bake is super quick and it's all about the sauce. Again, it's pretty much a lot of the same ingredients that were in the pizza. We're going to be using that pepperoni again, the cheese again, and that sauce again. But the sauce is going to be elevated and taken to another level. So for the pasta, you can pick any pasta that you want. But what I'm going to be using are these rotini noodles, and I always use wheat noodles whenever I am meal prepping because they hold up a lot better than the other noodles, and also they have less calories. So these have 180 calories and 2/3 a cup. So this has 3 servings in it. So these noodles all in all have 540 calories. This whole recipe that I'm showing you today is 2 servings. So by the time this is all said and done, this whole recipe has about 450 calories per serving. So these I've already cooked and it's ready to go for the bake. So you make your noodles. You can pick whatever type of noodles you want. If you do these rotini noodles, it's 3 servings. So it's 2/3 a cup times 3. And these I cooked until they're al dente. It's important that whatever noodle you pick, that you don't cook them the whole way, because they're gonna cook more whenever they're in the oven. And the worst thing is an overcooked noodle. So make sure to not cook them the whole way. You want them to have some crunch to them because they're gonna cook whenever they are in the oven. So we're gonna be cooking with our noodles. Then we're going to also be using that same cheese. So I have that same mixture, a 1/4 cup of the fat-free mozzarella, and then a 1/4 cup of the full-fat mozzarella. If you want full fat the whole way, go for it. Same amount of pepperoni, except the only difference is I diced that pepperoni. So I have about 14 of those slices of that turkey pepperoni, and I cut them into quarters, so slice them into 4. Then I also have that same Rao's sauce, that same pizza sauce, but again, I promise you, don't get thrown off by the word pizza. This sauce can be used as a spaghetti sauce. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. It has a good enough flavor that it can be used on noodles as well. Trust me. Plus, we're gonna amp it up. We're gonna be adding to it with some other ingredients, which we're gonna get into next. So this is doubled. So this is a 1/4 cup, but twice. So this has 2 servings of that 1/4 cup, basically a 1/2 cup. Mushrooms, I used portobellas and I diced these up. This is a cup of portobello mushrooms. This is a cup of green peppers, bell peppers. This is 1/2 cup of these cherry tomatoes. These are actually my dad's from his garden, so they are going to be delicious. This is 1 small shallot and also 1 pretty large clove of garlic. So if you have small cloves of garlic, use 2. If you don't like garlic, go ahead, just use 1. But I mean, I love garlic, and garlic and a shallot mixed together is phenomenal. And then this is 2 tablespoons of red cooking wine. If you have red wine, like actual wine, use red wine as well. But I have red cooking wine, so that's what I'm going to be using. So those are all of our ingredients. So let's go ahead and get started putting all of this together. The first thing to do is to saute the shallot and the garlic together. I'm going to use spray butter. You can use olive oil. You can use butter, whatever you want. But what we're doing is we're making a base to add our Rao's sauce to. So we're like amping up the Rao's sauce. And I have done this a million times, and it just takes that sauce to another level. It's so good. It's so good. It tastes like restaurant sauce. You can mix garlic and shallots to anything, and it will be delicious. Okay, now that the garlic and the shallot is a perfect, like very, very, very light brown, what we're gonna do is deglaze the pan, I believe they call this, with our red wine. So we're gonna pour our red wine into our pan. You can hear that sizzle sound. We're just going to toss this around. Okay, so we're gonna let that bubble a little bit, not too much, but we're gonna let that bubble a little bit, and then we're gonna add about a 1/2 cup of water. And we're gonna let that come to a simmer. And when it comes to a simmer, we're gonna add in our mushrooms, our green peppers, and also our tomatoes. Okay, so this looks perfect, and it is time to add in the red sauce. So again, this is that Rayo's. Now that we have our sauce done, all we have to do is put our sauce in our noodles, put our cheese in and our pepperoni, and put it in the oven, and then it's done. Split it into 2 containers, and we have our lunch ready to go. So I'm gonna take our sauce. It smells so good. It seriously smells like heaven, and it's so hearty. It's such a hearty sauce. It's so filling. So I'm gonna take this sauce and I'm gonna put it into those noodles. And this is another reason why I like to use these rotini noodles, is because they really do hold the sauce so good. Take your pepperoni, mix it in. Take your cheese, leave, I would say, just like a little bit to sprinkle on the top at the very end. Okay, now we're gonna put this in the oven. I set my oven for 350 degrees, and we're gonna bake this for about 15 minutes, because again, all this is already cooked. All this is doing is just bubbling this all together to get really flavorful. Put it back in the oven for about 5 more minutes, and then it's done. All right, so that wraps up the pasta bake. I went ahead and put it into a dish just so you could see how big of a portion this is. So again, this is 450 calories. The next step would be to put it into a container, and then this is 2 servings. You really could get 4 servings out of this and make it, it would really be 225 calories if you did 4 servings. But if you want the 2 servings, which is a heftier lunch and it's going to keep you full for a longer amount of time, you can do it that way. It really is just a really good lunch, both of these, the pizza and the pasta. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoy these recipes. If you try these, please comment below. Let me know how you like them. Make sure you subscribe. I have videos coming out on how to live in food freedom when you go to lunch with a friend, how to live in food freedom when you go to Disney, how to live in food freedom when you go to Italy, how to live in food freedom when you travel to just different places, how to live in food freedom when you go to a picnic, just all these different things. Are you in food prison? What does it mean to live in food freedom? So all these different videos that are coming up. So just make sure that you subscribe so you can stay on top of all the videos that I have coming out. Thank you so much.